Hello, my name is Matthew, and this is going to be an announcement video for the book that Steve Donahue and I are going to be reading in the month of June, and it is Lonesome Dove by Larry McMurtry. I've never read it. I know of the book. I know that it's a Western. I know very little else other than that, and it it's going on along a theme that our book club, Steve Donahue and I, our little book club, has been going on, which is being adventurous and finding all sorts of different things to read that are at least surprising to me. And so we read comic books and fantasy and science fiction and classics, and now we are on to a Western. That's pretty much all I know about the book, other than it won prizes, it was very popular. Uh, I hear about this book a lot. A lot of people say this is one of their very favorite books, and after Steve recommended it, I've been getting excited, and I really can't wait to see what all the fuss is about. I don't read westerns, but I do like western movies, mostly John Wayne movies. And I have to say that I have been, for the month of May, relatively absent on my channel. And my girlfriend has commented and said, where are the videos? And just this past weekend, my father had a birthday. He turned 71 years old. And I got to visit my mom and dad, and of course also Huckleberry and little Gussie, the two miniature schnauzers, fuss all over them. And I gave my dad a present. We all sat down, had a nice conversation. We had lunch together, and at a certain point, my mom says, "You haven't been making videos." And I said, "Well, I made a video." And my mom says, "Well, you're not making enough." And she goes, "I like to watch these videos. We sit down and watch these videos." And my mom says, "I like to see you. I like to see the scruff on your chin and the tiny house and the cats running around. It's a way that I can see my son." And my dad, after my mom expresses herself, my dad is sitting there and he goes, "It's pretty bad that we have to watch YouTube to see our own son." Okay, so I have a promise to Steve. I'm gonna be making videos. Our agreement is each Sunday, for 4 Sundays in June, we will be reading a quarter of the book and then making discussion videos about each quarter. And it goes along with a theme. There is a booktube event called June on the Range, which I believe is an event celebrating the genre of westerns. So I think this is a way of participating in a kind. And I want to make a point that I ordered an e-copy. I'm going to be reading this on an e-copy, and I love my e-reader, and I do tend to prefer it to printed books, but I had an incident recently that I'll explain. I came across, after hearing lots of people talk about Orlando Furioso, Steve, someone that talks about this book as one of his favorites, and I came across a prose translation. And so this is a huge, epic poem, which, if it was a Penguin classic written in verse, it would be 2 volumes, each one thicker than this one. And I came across a prose translation, and I thought, well, it's this great big long poem, and it's supposed to be fabulous, exciting, full of adventure. And when I saw the prose translation, I thought maybe that'll be a really great entry point into the book. I don't have to worry about the verse or the meter or the rhyme. I can just get into the story and have the whole story, this is unabridged, just in one volume. And if I love it, I can then move on to verse translations, and already knowing the story, I'll be able to enjoy the meter and the rhyme and whatever poetic affectations there are on their own without also having to wrangle with what's going on in the story. So I ordered a printed copy because I like classics in paper-bound books. I especially love books of poems, great big poems. And I couldn't wait to get this thing in the mail. And it shows up, and the print, it's so dense looking. The print is just painfully small. Just, it's so dense, and now having the luxury of having an e-reader, setting the line spacing, picking the font that I want, the size that I want, all of a sudden, this just looked so burdensome. And I immediately just ordered the e-copy of the same exact book that I just got. And so when I was thinking about getting this book, I thought, I'm just going to get the e-copy. It's going to be everything that I want. So I went electronic. And the last thing that I want to say is I haven't read really any Westerns, but I had recently, I believe at a Goodwill, got the collected stories of Louis L'Amour. So this is my copy. And I haven't touched it. I know the name. There he is. There's Louis. And I think it's kind of neat because if I really like Lonesome Dove, I'll have this just sitting on my shelf. It's a print copy, but it's a collection of short stories. And I don't know. I might love it. So a couple tangents, stories. The main point is that Steve Donahue and I, will be reading Lonesome Dove in June. Each Sunday we'll have a video talking about the book. I promise, Steve. I promise, Mom. So if you want to read along, this is the announcement. Thank you for watching. Please leave a comment if you would like, and take care.